What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and I am joined in this video by Degenerate Jay. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Black Widow. Now, I've done this series before for both games and movies, and we've talked about whether we're going to see something, whether we're unsure about it, and it could be, we see it, we don't see it, but we're just kind of, not the most excited in the world for it, or where we're just flat out not going to see it, okay? I've done this a couple times for different games and movies, and they've all worked out really well, so I'm going to test my luck on Black Widow. Depending on when the video comes out, obviously Black Widow is just a week, a few weeks, it's getting very, very close, bottom line, right? We've seen reviews, people have gotten to see it. There's been overall pretty solid things to be said about it. Not everybody has loved it, but there's definitely been a lot of positive reception towards this movie. So Jay and I are both on the side of we're going to go see it. And we'll obviously speak for ourselves, but we're not massively excited for the film, and that's kind of the theme. That's why the title is that we're kind of unsure about the movie, is because we're just not the most excited people in the world, and I think each have our own reasons. So before I get too far in, firstly, make sure if you haven't checked out Jay's channel, Degenerate Jay, the link for it will be in the description below, as well as a pinned comment. His main channel, he has a Let's Play channel, also has a Twitter. An amazing guy, tackles a ton of different topics just like I do. Jay, thank you so much for being here with me.
Hey man, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about the movie that I'm still convinced isn't actually coming out. I almost feel like this is a Mandela effect thing where we believe it is, but it's not. It's so weird with all the pushbacks and stuff. So I'm interested to talk about this one.
It is insane. It is kind of like, I can't believe the film. Morbius will be, I think, the best example of that, like where nobody's going to believe it. All right, so I'll go first. I'll try to keep it nice and short and sweet. We don't have to stretch it out too far. And I've said it before, I really do want to see this movie. I've been excited for this movie, but this has, without a doubt, been a movie that's taken hits every single time it's been delayed. I talked about with F9, for some reason that film just never took a hit. It could be delayed 30 years and I will still be just, even with Vin Diesel being 80 years old, I'll be just as excited. So, but Black Widow just doesn't have that effect. Every time they did it, just becomes a little bit worse. Maybe it's because of what happened with Wonder Woman. I did not like 1984 at all. That was actually pretty awful. Mainly just, a lot of things. We won't go too far into it, but I just feel like now, this is not going to be like that. That's another kind of thing, is we've seen from reviews, and in fact, I don't want to go too far into it because I'm pretty sure this entire movie leaked online last year, and I've read it. I'm pretty sure everything that happens in the leak does happen in the movie, from what trailers have shown, from what people have said. So I'm pretty sure I know the entire movie, like right now, sitting behind my desk. I'm not going to say it, but, I think just these kind of things have an impact on me, where it's like, I don't know, like, I look at this as comfort food almost in a way. Scarlett Johansson, she's back. Black Widow is back. A likable character. A character who's actually really good. Like, she's one of the better ones, I'd say, especially towards the tail end of her kind of career, right? Or I guess her character. I think she did a really amazing job. So it'll be good to, like, see something like normal in a way, like we've seen it before almost, you know what I mean? And it's going to kind of feel like we're returning to, like, a safe space almost. And you could say, well, I could say, I want something different. But then I look to Shang-Chi and Eternals, and I'm not really all that hyped for either of them. Specifically Eternals, I don't really care for at all. So I'm kind of in a weird spot where I do want things that are new, but I'm also not thrilled with the new stuff that seemingly is coming, right? Although I like the TV show. So it's like, that's why. It really is, when I talk about why I'm unsure about it, I'm in a really weird headspace. Now, and I'm going to hand it over to Jay to hear his thoughts. I'm in a weird headspace on Marvel things in general, because I like the shows somewhat, like Loki I really like, Falcon and Winter Soldier I thought was decent, maybe even good. WandaVision I thought kind of tailed off at the end, but I really had so much fun in the moment with that show. So it's hard, but I'm ready to see Black Widow, but almost to, like, get it out of the way. Does that make sense? Almost to just see it and say, okay, I saw it, we're finally past this milestone in all of our lives, and let's just move on. So Jay, what do you think? Are you kind of on the fence, or why are you on the fence? Let me know.
Well, I'm excited to see the movie, actually, Alex, but not nearly as much as I was. That's kind of the problem with this movie. With all those pushbacks, I agree with you. Now, am I as big of a Fast and Furious fan? I guess probably not, since I, haven't seen 8 or Hobbs and Shaw yet. I plan to, but I have not gotten to it. But in terms of this movie, it's frustrating to me how it was exciting. When this got announced, to me, it was very exciting because I was like, oh, finally, we get to see Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow kind of doing her own thing. We get to see more backstory on her. We get to see her family. This will be really cool. I was one of the people who was a big fan of this character. I was so psyched when they introduced her in Iron Man 2, and really disappointed when she was the one to leave the cast, I will say, for those who are going to yell spoilers about years old movie Endgame. Leave the cast with Endgame, right? So I was disappointed by that decision, and I wanted more of this character. So when this got announced, I was super into it, but over time they just kept delaying it. And part of this, I will say 100% for me, is a lack of interest in Disney going forward. Now, I'm not saying that they're an awful company that I will never watch movies from. That would be a lie. But when it comes to Disney, they've done a lot of stupid stuff in the past few years that has really frustrated me, I guess would be the easiest way to say it, and put me off to their products and their properties with some of their decisions. Things with something like Mulan, and even their decisions with Marvel at times have been off-putting to me, with something like Captain Marvel just being meh. There's a lot of meh stuff from Marvel just in general. I love the MCU. I personally adored both, WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I couldn't even think of the word for some reason. I adored both of them. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. But I loved them. So for me, Marvel as a universe, I really, really enjoy it. I enjoy the superhero world, but I'm very tired of being able to tell that they don't care about releasing this movie. Them not caring about this movie has made me not care about this movie nearly as much as I did. I was psyched for it, but then over time, as they kept pushing it back and basically saying, we don't care. We don't have faith in movie theaters. We're not going to do this. Being one of the companies that was big enough to take a hit and release something and try and help theaters, and just being like, I don't feel like it. That stuff over time really just made me not care as much. So it's like, am I going to see this movie? Yeah. But am I, going in as excited about it as I was? Sadly, no, not at all. And now Scarlett Johansson has made some weird comments as well about it, about her character. Yeah, about how, almost like she thought that her character was garbage before, but now, because she's not as sexualized, that she's good or something. There's just some weird, stuff going on around this movie, too, where it's like, I already wasn't very excited for this, and now you're just saying dumb stuff like what Brie Larson was almost saying around Captain Marvel, where it's like, you're really just kind of making it worse.
Yep. No, I can 100%. Yeah, when she said that, I'm like, no, you don't need to touch it. The movie's already, that's what I said on Twitter. They said, the projected box office for it. And it's like, I'm so excited to see it because you cannot use the stuff around the world as an excuse anymore. You can't. And you can't even use Disney Plus as an excuse because of Quiet Place. Quiet Place was only in theaters, right? So Quiet Place is the best example of, when you come out in theaters, you're going to absolutely, I guess they absolutely nailed it. But, in my opinion, or even I say Mortal Kombat is a good example. Mortal Kombat actually made quite a lot of money in theaters, even though it was also on HBO Max. You could say Godzilla vs. Kong did the same thing. So, and this is even further out, you know what I mean? So I don't want to see excuses. I'm sure we will. I'm sure there'll be excuses if the movie quote unquote flops, which to me does not mean that it's going to do all that bad. It just means it won't do as well as maybe other Marvel movies, right? Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, man. I think to me, I agree with you. I wanted to see more of I guess I agree in the sense that I have always wanted to kind of see this movie in a sense as well, but I wasn't a fan of, see, Jay and I normally agree on everything. I wasn't a fan of when they announced it, simply because we've moved on. Her character's done. And to make the prequel movie, now I get it. And judging on leaks, there's going to be setups for other things in the future and all that stuff. So, it will connect. All of these things connect. But, I mean, would you be forcing it? Are you forcing it more now than you would have 5-6 years ago? Yes. You know what I mean? So, would I have wanted a prequel movie a while ago? Yeah. Did Scarlett Johansson say she's glad that it's now and not back then? Yeah. Do I think she really means that? No, not really, to be honest with you. So it's tough because I do want to see this movie, and I've wanted to see it ever, like you said, ever since they announced it. But I just think ever since the beginning, there was a sense to it where it's like, well, you're holding on to the past again, just like you're doing with Iron Man, Captain America, Chris Evans, right? You're holding on to the past. I know why you're doing it. We all get why. You don't, but I mean, you have to take those risks and not do it eventually. And it's like, yeah, then you have delay after delay after delay. Then you have comments like this. So it's tough. It's tough to get overly excited. I definitely am pumped. I'm gonna be watching it kind of like with my family. We're gonna watch it on Disney Plus because there's gonna be like 6 of us, so we're gonna all watch it there. Which is so we're gonna try and save as much money as possible. Even though I hate that Disney Plus kind of model, we're doing what's best financially, right? So I guess Jay, well, I'll hand it off to you one more time. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
Yeah, so I think that overall you hit all the points with it. I mean, it's something that if I see it, I'll probably go to theaters, not to plug AMC here, but for me, it's just me and my wife, and I have the AMC A-list premiere thing. So basically, I can see 3 movies a week. Like I get 3 free movie tickets a week for me. I don't get any for my wife. So basically, all I really have to pay going into it is like $9. If I want to get food, I can. If I want to bring food into the theater, which is not against the law, unlike what they'll tell you, I can. So, you know, it's a lower buy-in for me. If I want to see it, I'll see it there, and I'm pretty sure I will. But overall, it's like, yeah, they are holding on to the past. The thing is, I'm fine with prequels and stuff if they add to the story. If they add nothing significant, that's kind of where I don't care. So I hope that there's enough here to justify this being a movie and building on to that character, even though, yes, it is, like you said, holding on to the past. I agree. And I'm going to go a step further. I personally, if you could make it believable, I'd be fine with a few movies like this, like movies that could have been set, you know, right after Age of Ultron or before the original Avengers, but, you know, before like a solo movie or after a solo movie or something like that. I'm fine with that occasionally if it adds to the overall universe and world building and makes things better. Okay. Cool. You know, you do that, but I don't like the preachiness around this one a little bit already. And that's from someone who likes Scarlett Johansson. I don't like the attitude around its release of just putting it off indefinitely because who cares? That makes me care less. There's a lot of stuff I don't like around this movie that has made me less excited for it than the movie itself. And maybe that's unfair to the movie, but that's just really how I feel about it with every decision that they've publicly made on it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So let us know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Are you going to go see it? Are you unsure about it? Are you for sure not going to go see it? Let us know your situation in the comments below. As always, make sure, obviously, you guys are subscribed here, bell icon, and make sure you guys check out Jay's stuff as well. His main channel, his Let's Play channel, his Twitter, all in the description, as well as a pinned comment. Jay, thank you so much again for being here talking Black Widow with me.
Hey man, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure. Like you and I have said in previous videos, we usually agree on stuff. Sometimes we disagree, but we're both friends at the end of the day, like in real life and stuff. And it's always a pleasure being in a video with you.
Very, very true. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you all on the next one.